What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogreboy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 2001 movie Shrek. So, this movie follows an ogre named Shrek. He's kind of a loner, and lives by himself in his swamp, and one day he meets a donkey, and later that evening a bunch of fairy tale creatures get dumped into his swamp by Lord Farquaad. And so Shrek and Donkey go and talk to Lord Farquaad, and Shrek makes a deal with him that he'll rescue Princess Fiona from this castle that's guarded by a dragon and bring her to him in order for Farquaad to clear out his swamp and take all of the fairy tale creatures out of his swamp. And along the way, Shrek's friendship with Donkey starts to form and everything, and he ends up, after they rescue Fiona, they start forming a friendship, and you can tell they both have feelings for each other and everything. And one night, Donkey finds out that Fiona is under a curse that she was put under when she was a baby, where she turns into an ogre at nighttime, and everything, and he's trying to convince her to try to just be with Shrek, and she's telling him that princesses and ugly don't go together and she can't stay an ogre because of that reason. And Shrek misunderstands it when he kind of hears them talking and thinks she was talking about him, and so he goes to get Lord Farquaad and everything, and she changes back into human before Shrek could find out when she was about to tell him, and they go their separate ways, and Shrek and Donkey go their separate ways too, because Shrek felt like Donkey had betrayed him and stuff, and they eventually Donkey goes to his house later that day, and they end up going to Duloc and stopping Fiona from getting married, and she shows him that she turns into an ogre, and Shrek tells her that he loves her, and they pretty much live happily ever after that. Well, yeah, pretty much. I mean, all the sequels pretty much show that they have a happily ever after. But yeah, so this is one of my favorite movies of all time. I just absolutely love Shrek, which most of y'all probably could have guessed that by my name and stuff, like my channel name and stuff. It's Ogreboy1992, and my nickname is Ogreboy. I was given that nickname in school and stuff because of how much I love Shrek. All the kids at school would call me Ogreboy because of that and everything. And as a kid, I had all kinds of Shrek stuff, including toys and books, coloring books, the soundtrack, which I actually still have. I've actually had 2 or 3 copies of it. I think I'm on my 3rd copy, and everything. In fact, I'm going to show y'all some of the toys that I used to. These aren't my original toys that I had as a kid, because all of those got really worn out and some of them broke and stuff. But I got new ones of the toys that I used to grow up with, so I'm going to show those to y'all real quick. They're from McFarlane Toys, I believe, and they came out in 2001, right around the time the movie did, and everything. And I had all of these as a kid and everything. Most of them, like I said, they got worn out and broken and stuff because I played with them all the time as a kid. But I recently got new ones off of eBay and everything. I had to spend a pretty penny on them. I think I paid like $150 for them and everything. And unfortunately, they're not in their original packaging or anything, because in order to get them in their original packaging, it's like almost $600. So I had to just do it the easiest way that I could. So, but yeah, I'm going to show you all of them. First is Shrek, which was one of my favorite toys as a kid. I used to play with this all the time and everything. The one that I had back then, and was awesome. And then you got Donkey. He's really cool. There's a button on the back of his head, and you can make his mouth move, although it doesn't move as good as it would have back then when it was brand new. And then you got Princess Fiona, who I actually don't think I actually had one of this particular Fiona as a kid. This is the only one out of the McFarlane ones that I didn't have. And you press a button, if you move her arm, her leg kicks out and stuff. It's really cool. And then Lord Farquaad. But Shrek, Donkey, and Farquaad, I had all of these as a kid. I did have a Fiona as a kid too, but I think it was a different one. This was one I always wanted, but she was always sold out whenever I tried to get her and everything. But I love all of these toys. It was awesome being able to get new ones and stuff and everything. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. So back to the review. Part of what I love about this movie is the characters. Like, the characters are so well done and likable and stuff, especially Shrek. He's one of my favorite movie characters of all time and everything. As a kid, I always kind of related to him because he's kind of a loner and everything, and he just was really relatable to me and stuff. And even as the movies go on, he still is and everything. I've always loved Shrek and thought he was a really great character. Now, I know most people would say Donkey's their favorite character, and I can get that. He's absolutely hilarious. Eddie Murphy is amazing as Donkey and everything. He's great. Mike Myers, though, I just absolutely love him as Shrek. He's perfect and everything. And Chris Farley was originally supposed to do the voice of Shrek and everything, but he died while they were doing it. And you can hear little clips of him online. I think he would have been great, too, as Shrek and everything. But all in all, I'm glad that Mike Myers did his voice, though. But Chris Farley would have been a great Shrek, too, I think. And then you got Cameron Diaz as Princess Fiona. I think she was really great in this movie. This was the first movie that I ever saw that Cameron Diaz was in and everything. And so every time I see her in a movie, I always just hear her voice and automatically think Princess Fiona. And then John Lithgow, who was the only person in this movie that I really recognized his voice and everything, because I had watched Third Rock from the Sun as a kid and seen Harry and the Hendersons and some other movies and stuff, so I recognized him in this movie. But all the others, I didn't really recognize their voices. Well, actually, I take that back. I did recognize Eddie Murphy's voice, but it was before I really knew much about Eddie Murphy, because the only other movie I'd seen was Mulan, and I just recognized him as Mushu from Mulan. But I love all of these characters. They're all really great. Even Lord Farquaad, who is the villain and stuff, he still has that charm and stuff. There's something about him I like, and I like that they named him Lord Farquaad as a dirty joke, because if you say his name over and over again, it comes out really dirty and everything, and it rhymes with Duckwad. I thought that was funny, and they and everything. And this movie was made as a big FU to Disney and stuff. Jeffrey Katzenberg had been fired from Disney, and he made a lot of the movies in DreamWorks Animation's early part were made to be revenge on Disney. Ants was made to be a rip-off of A Bug's Life, and then everything. And this was like their big FU to Disney, their big final FU, and for being made for petty reasons and stuff, this movie just works perfectly, and it shows that even pettiness can have some great stuff in it sometimes. And I just absolutely love the humor in this movie. There's all kinds of jokes that I didn't get as a kid that I get as an adult, and some of them, the adult jokes, I did get as a kid. But yeah, I like the scene when Lord Farquaad has a boner and stuff. Like, I never noticed it as a kid when he moves his blanket up and everything, but now that I'm older, I noticed like the little movement in the blanket and everything. I was like, wow, I can't believe they got away with that. And then other things that I've didn't notice as a kid, like the mama bear from the Three Bears and stuff. At the beginning of the movie, she's in the cage, and then you don't see her anymore in the movie except for in Lord Farquaad's room, and she's like been skinned and stuff and is like a throw rug. I thought that was really dark and everything, but you don't see her at all anymore in the movie, or even in the karaoke dance party, which was a special feature on the video and DVD and everything. I was like, wow, I can't believe they went that dark and everything. If you put two and two together, it has to be her. Plus, it looks exactly like her. And like all the shots at Disney that they do in this, like Fiona singing to the bird and it exploding, and all the shots they do at Disney, it's just absolutely perfect. It's like the perfect Disney parody and stuff. And this kind of made a mark in animation. Like, there were movies that tried to do this meta humor animated fairy tale type movies after it. The only other one besides this that I thought really did it well was Hoodwinked. But I absolutely love the story and writing in this movie, and all the characters. And then you get the jokes, or I mean, the jokes just make it even better and everything. And the music and stuff in here is really excellent too. It has a lot of really great songs, and I know All Star by Smash Mouth actually was released a couple years earlier and had been featured in other movies and stuff. I think the first one was maybe Mystery Men with Ben Stiller, and it was also in Inspector Gadget and Rat Race, which also came out in 2001. But this movie is the reason why that song has stayed as popular as it is, and why it's as well known as it is, and it's still one of my favorite songs of all time. I liked it before this movie, and I love it even more because of this movie. And then also the song Hallelujah, which was originally Leonard Cohen's song. I absolutely love this movie. It's really weird because on the CD soundtrack, the song is done by Rufus Wainwright, but someone else sings it in the movie. I'm not sure who sings it in the movie, but I actually like the one that's on the CD actually better. I absolutely love that song. And then you got Smash Mouth's version of I'm a Believer, which was really, really good. And it has a lot of really good early 2000s songs that just feel like early 2000s. And the song You Belong to Me by Jason Wade, I love that song, which there's been all kinds of versions of that one as well, but that specific version I absolutely love. Part of it is because one of my old girlfriends and she loved Shrek as much as I did, and that was kind of our song because of this movie and everything. And I just have a lot of nostalgia for this movie. I watched all the time as a kid, and it was one movie that actually everybody in my family enjoyed watching and stuff with me. And like my grandma and we watched this movie I don't know how many times, and every time I watch this movie it makes me remember how much I enjoyed watching it with her, and like it makes me miss her really bad every time I watch it and everything. But I love Shrek, and Harry Gregson Williams does the score for this movie, and it is really great. One of the best animation scores out there. It ranks up there with like Lion King and Toy Story and stuff like that as far as movie scores for animated movies go. It's just absolutely a great movie. To me, it's a perfect movie. The animation holds up very well, especially if you watch it on Blu-ray. The Blu-ray picture and stuff looks amazing and everything. I just absolutely love Shrek, and if you haven't seen it, I definitely would recommend it and everything. And it does have a lot of pop culture references that some people would say are outdated, but it fits perfectly in the way the story is told and everything. And you would think all these pop songs wouldn't work, but each song kind of fits what's going on in the movie. Like All Star and stuff is just a perfect song for the opening of the movie when Shrek is just being himself in his swamp and everything. And I'm a Believer is a perfect way to end the movie with and everything. And like the lyrics to that song fit perfectly for Shrek and Fiona's romance. And the song I'm on My Way, which is playing when Shrek and Donkey are on their way to rescue Fiona, it's like they knew what they were doing and made it perfectly. My Beloved Monster and Me by the Ills, who also did songs for all of the other Shrek movies, I think, except I don't know if they did one for Shrek 4, but that song is perfect for the scene when Shrek and Fiona are bonding and stuff. Like, they just really went all out on this, and I just absolutely love this movie. But today marks 20 years since this movie came out, and I know technically a lot of people have celebrated it on April 22nd, which was the day that it premiered, had its big Hollywood premiere, but I'm considering this as the day because this is the one where it got released to the public, where people were able to go see it and stuff and everything, so that's why I'm considering it today, the anniversary and everything. Plus, the other movies came out in May, and I'm going to be reviewing those as well, and I thought I'd just kind of do it close to all of their anniversaries and stuff this year and everything. So I will be doing the other movies in this franchise and stuff, so but yeah, so I'd give Shrek a 10 out of 10. It's a masterpiece. I absolutely love this movie and everything. But let me know in the comments what you think of Shrek, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.